Hello, everybody. Hope all is well with everybody taking a listen to the Leon Legree podcast. So today I'm going to be going over something a little bit different compared to other videos. So this time I'm going to be going over Reanimal. Now, for those that don't know, Reanimal, it is a video game I've been playing since Friday. Now, I will say that I have tons of positives about this game, and then I have other negatives about this game as well. There are two things I will say with this is, for one, this is a podcast. I'm going to go over something a little bit different compared to other podcasts I've talked about, which is, you guys know, I talk about mostly about technology, commentary, all that. So this is going to be my first time I'm going to go through a video game talks, which I never done in my own show. I figured this would be great to talk about and get something out about my experience with Reanimal. What did I think about this game when I've purchased this? And was this worth the hype? Worth the wait after months and months of the Reanimal announcements coming from Tazar? And you know what? You're going to hear from this right now. Well, I will tell you right there is when I got Reanimal Thursday evening, and Thursday, that was the time that I was getting prepared, and when I finished purchasing on Steam, I got around to installing the game on my main drive on my Linux machine. I'll tell you right there is that the game works well even on Linux running on Proton, and that's why I have to say that was one thing I love about Linux, is that it just runs flawlessly. And even with my Linux Pop OS machine, which is running, and the OS is 22.0, which I've had that since now for almost 2 months. In that operating system alone, it just works great. And it's still a good operating system, even for running on Debian. I will say that this game is great. So that's why I figured Reanimal, I would say that, was this game better than Little Nightmares 3? Well, here's my take on it, and I'll say it right now. I would say it runs well. And I do say that it is above Little Nightmares 3. And I would say that right now, Little Nightmares 3 is what it should have been. And my God. And this is one thing I would say, it is great. And the gameplay wise, super fantastic. Eeriness, the darkness of the game, just the atmosphere just takes you in. Like when you are in the first level, Deep Water. And one thing I've noticed with Deep Water, and even that intro of the game, is just a unique experience all the way. And you're talking about how much you are involved with the games. It just involved the game's atmosphere, and also the fact that when you started the game, you're in a boat and you play as a boy, or a girl. Depends on how you play the game. Now I will put it this way too, is that I couldn't get to play co-op with one of my best friends. And one thing I will say, that online co-op is a mess, and it's unplayable. Now, when I got to play it and test it out around Saturday afternoon, that was no problem. But then when it came down around later that evening to try it out, actually, it was very unplayable. We were both streaming our PCs. We couldn't even get the game to run properly, and it just blows my mind. Just blows my mind of how you can't even get the game to run properly. It's incredible, incredibly frustrating. But let's get back with the review on Deep Waters, and I would say that I was able to play it via solo, and that game is a lot of fun. Just going out playing it solely, and it's just breathtaking of how amazing it is too. And that's why I felt that I love how the game, it didn't feel like just nightmares and creepy people from Little Nightmares 1 and 2. Now this one right here, it's all about getting creeped out by macrobilian animals just coming back to life, or just scary looking creatures that you're having to go out and face off. And that's one thing I like about this, is that the creepiness does get to you too. And so that is why. And also, honestly, the game does run well when you are playing solo. Now, I can't speak for everybody because everybody's experience is quite different, because it depends on how you play this game. First of all, I have this game installed on my Linux machine, so that runs properly fine. Now, I know a lot of people have had so many issues, especially like bug glitches, not able to get through the levels properly because of the strange glitches, which I've read through the discussion boards on Steam. And there was just so many I've been hearing on other things. Now, also, depends on how long you finish this game. It all depends on each and every individual, right? And it's also a good thing to point out that for me, however, I never experienced that at all with Reanimal. And Reanimal, I would say that I love it, and that's why I feel that it felt this game. I feel that I fell in love with this game the first time when I'm going through the boats and having to go through and entering the shores of that place. It's just incredible how you are experiencing this whole new world, and it's nothing like the Little Nightmares world where you're going through nightmares and visions, all that stuff. No. And exactly, it's a different scenario. And that's why I love about Tazar, because they weren't going to plan on doing the same thing, but in fact, I love how the creatures are the big part of this game. Even though the mechanics is running just like Little Nightmares 1 and 2, I will say for the most part, like when they've redone this game, which is a very original title they've done, at least I will put it this way. While the mechanics are the same, the one thing I like about Tazar Studio is that they didn't try to reinvent the wheel on this title, and that's why it's cool that they've made it very familiar for fans like myself and others that were fans of Little Nightmares 1 and 2. And now, however, number 3, it's a whole different ball game, and I don't feel like I didn't felt that immersed with number 3. And while I didn't finish the game for Little Nightmares 3, someday I will do that. Now, for Reanimal is a game that you will feel immersed, and you will feel that the creepiness from each a boss and each enemy that you encounter throughout the game, it just kind of feels that way too. Plus the puzzles, I would say it's somewhat interesting, but I feel that they feel a little bit flat right there when you are grabbing things, and also it's not as complicated too, which, I mean, it can be good and bad at the same time. And that's why I felt that even on a game like this too, it doesn't make it that hard, which is good. But hey, I don't expect this game to be for everybody, right? When it comes to things like going through the first level and entering into the world and finding out things on your own. Because if you haven't played Tazar's previous titles like Little Nightmares 1 and 2, you'll you'll probably end up feeling confused at first because and for me, I played this through a controller on my Logitech controller, which worked great. PC keyboard, I haven't played it on at all with PC keyboard. I'm sure it is going to be just as fine too. So, hey, it's each of their own, right? So I'm glad that you can still play it on the keyboard. It's still not a bad experience, but if you want to make things a bit easy on your fingers, then I would say go with playing with a controller. Now, this time in this game, it does have voiceovers, and one thing I do have to say that it's cool that they have it. And one of the things about Reanimal that I'm sure at this point it's gonna have its lore and its own storytelling, just like Little Nightmares did. Which, hey, each to their own, right? And while I'm sure that Little Nightmares as a franchise will get better. Who knows after the third game? Because I know a lot of people have had a lot of mixed feelings with the third Little Nightmares. But in just like me too, because I can tell you it's not my favorite. And if they ever do Little Nightmares 4, who knows? But that's up to Supermassive Games and Bandai Namco for them to develop that. So I will put it right there is the game right there when you are entering the sewers and going through the underground. One of the things I've noticed right there is that you've first encountered one of the children there that he has his dialogue there, and this kid says why are you here and you should never have come, which I would say that each character has their own dialogue, but the dialogue in this game, it's nothing more than 20 words out of the game, and there's not a lot of dialogue really, which it's cool that they've added voiceover, but really it's not in depth. The conversation is not really deep at all. It's very simple dialogue, and you're not gonna get a full script on this too. So let's put it this way. I've noticed when the sound effects are amazing, and when it comes to it, it's not about each character talking about where they're going, all that too. They don't have these linear or tedious, boring dialogues you'll hear in some video games. But what this game does represent well is the feeling of eeriness and the feeling of having to go through the island in this really horrible place that you're in, trying to save your friends. As when you are using either the boy or the girl. But I noticed in the game and other trailers, I've noticed that the studio, they refer to them as brother and sister, and then also the game right there. What I've noticed right there is the fact that they don't reflect a lot what you see in the trailers. So it's kind of like in a way there is a point of that I wish that you'll see a lot more in it, because I'm almost close to finishing up the game, right? But to me, that's where I see this is I just felt that there comes to a point that some of the enemies feel it doesn't feel flat, but I just feel that there could have been a lot more expansive stuff too, because in the original trailer, I'm sure some of you may remember, you'll see like levels that were in the original trailer, but I didn't notice in this game at all, which I felt it was very strange, because I know that like the first boss, which I'm going to get to right now, I think it's called a sniffer. And one of the things I've noticed with the game, that the more I look into Reanimal, the Reanimal timeline, or whatever you want to say about this too, is that it is, while it is phenomenal, no, it's like it has its eeriness right there too. But I feel that the game, just my opinion, feels pretty short out, and you could probably end up finishing this game between 4 the 5 hours or even less. I know some people have finished this game with between 3.5 hours or 4.5 hours from that point. Now, I don't know about you, but I've that's how I feel, because I almost feel like that now I'm coming close to the ending. So, which is a strange thing because I really don't want this game to end so quick. So, yeah, I really don't. But I don't know what it comes down to, but that's how I feel like when I've going through a game like this. Want the experience to feel long, right? And wanted to feel as great as possible. And so far, I just kind of feel that the experience with Reanimal, it's just kind of been stripped that off. Compare what I've seen from the demonstration and everything, but who knows? And I know some people said that online where that you're going to end up seeing a lot more content through the DLC, which I might, in my experience, I really wish I could have seen a lot more built into the game and for anything else. Like, for instance, like the first boss that you are encountering is the Sniffer. And this guy right there, he is very similar to the Slender Man type figure, or the Slim Man. But he is a little bit thicker, but he does move around like a human being too, where he's dragging something, and also you have to find how to not get close, or not to get close to him too, because otherwise he will crush you, he will drown you in a tub, and I've had that happen to me a couple times. It's not fun, but this guy is horrifying. While he's not like one of the Macrobian animals, he is in the introduction too, and that's one thing I come to notice with this game too. And even after the fact that you are going through buildings, solving puzzles and all that too, which there's a lot of familiarity when it comes to first and second Little Nightmares. But I will tell you, my gosh, I would say towards the ending of the Sniffer, when you are refilling the tank, I've noticed one thing, and one thing that comes to mind was the fact that you are being chased by like crawling little creatures, and you are being chased by them. It is, oh my gosh, it just crawls in your skin. But what I've noticed with the game right there is that the chase scene feels, while it is still pretty scripted, but it just feels like, man, it feels pretty predictable, because, and not also just that, but easy to get away with those creatures. So it doesn't make things enticing or tense, because you just know how that's going to happen. And I want things to make things very suspenseful. When it comes to games having like a bit of horror and suspense, that's how I want Reanimal to feel. And that's where I felt that's a bit missing in the game. And I just felt like, oh my lord. That's what, and nothing about this game is bad, but, and this is just me, like when I hear reviews highly praising the game, that's where I kind of felt that, okay, time to put my 2 cents on it and put my voice on it right there. And that's like, I felt like, oh my god, I want to, not just this game to be good, but I want this game to be great. You know, one of Tazar's best work. And that's where I felt that it feels like it falls out from that point. Now, let's go ahead and jump over into another scenario, which I will say let's say the creatures, the pelican chase. And that chase right there is great. I think I like the chase right there so far. This is just something, which I love the chases. The chases felt that makes your heart and adrenaline makes you go 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 go, and that was wonderful. I felt that was cool that you've seen that early in, and this is like, well, I believe it's like second level in the game. Yeah, like I believe it's just like second level of the game, but still, you do feel that adrenaline coming and kicking in too. It makes you want to get out of that place or that room there too. It's like, wow. And and I think there was a point that when I played Little Nightmares 2 where I felt that same adrenaline coming at me. It's like I felt like run, 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 get the hell out of here, and that's what I felt with that those chasings, which is great. Now another thing, I'm gonna have to put my negatives next right there too. So let's get on with the negatives. So on with the downside with Reanimal, and I wanted to go out and say that first of all, it's not a bad game, but the one of the moments that Reanimal I go over in the game, and when I delve deep into it, is the fact that just there's some things I would say that it does things very unique with the game, but then other times I felt that it just it's just one of those things that felt that it could, like I've said before, like it could have extended itself much longer, and while there are dark turns that the characters go through, I feel like, well, the Pelican scene, once I got off the Pelican scene, those chases right there, then I go through another chase scene from the next level, which is, I believe, is a foster home or a school level, and I've noticed right away that there is a chase scene on the other boss right there too, and it's like a furry and it's like a spider creature which chases you, but then I noticed that one there, oh, that one, I feel that it was one of those things that felt really predictable. Like it was, that chase scene was okay, right? But then the cool part is that the way you fought that creature, that spider creature off the school or the orphanage, whatever you want to call that place, that right there, you grab the spears and you throw it off to the creature, and you get to just kill it off right there. So each boss battles is different, and how you go about fighting off the creatures or killing those creatures, which I got to harpoon the hell out of that that spider. It was like mwah. It was different, but still I liked how they've gone through how to go about fighting each boss right there too, which Reanimal does a good job. But I right now, as I'm going through the levels, and there are moments that you are running from animals and you are fighting bosses too. And Tarzar's credit, they are very creative about how they design the levels, and that's why I feel like with Reanimal is very atmospheric. So that's why this is a game that, if you are going through this game, it is an extraordinary game to go through it for your for someone like yourself, or for kids to play. But I almost feel that even for kids, I feel that kids are gonna get scared with this game too, because this is like, I remember listening to somebody that said that this is like Reanimal is like Little Nightmares on steroids, which I thought Tazar just took this to the next level, and they did, because I don't remember back when I played Little Nightmares 1 and 2. I don't remember a bunch of blood spilling out from the people that you're going out or facing with, which I felt that Little Nightmare series was more friendlier than Reanimal, because you do feel that you're fighting off monsters, and there are blood and stitches and all that, which makes it real feel grim. That's why I saw like the pig, where there are not just a pig, but the big ass hog. Like, it has the stitches right there, and I felt like, oh my god. I don't know if I ever want to have my child playing Reanimal, but I feel that there are times that can get pretty tense and really gnarly, I should say. But yeah, the way the game is designed is well done, and the mechanics are great too. So to me, I do feel very, very comfortable going about it and just jumping to levels, even with comfortability too. Okay, now time to shift gears on playability. Now, single player works flawless for me. That's just my experience on the PC. Now, I don't have Xbox or PlayStation 5 or the Nintendo Switch 2 to try it out. I will tell you that co-op is unplayable. And as I've read and gone through the discussions on Steam, a lot of people have said that online co-op is not even playable to many people. I remember like few people are able to jump into co-op with no problems, but I've noticed so many problems jumping into a collab stream with one of my friends, and Reanimal somehow during the evening it decided didn't work, and I already downloaded 1.5 patch onto my system, and some reason that part right there drove both me and my longtime friend crazy. Like, why did it not want to work on me? I was upset because nothing happened, and we tried to connect about 8 times in co-op, right? And that was one thing I didn't like about this release, is that this release should have had this clear and no problems on co-op when this game came out, and it should have been the game where it should have been set up straight and gone over and revised. And I understand that Tazar is not a big AAA company, and that what frustrated me the most is that you can get your single player games to work properly, but you could not even get this game to work fine on a multiplayer, which I would have loved to see that too. Now, I didn't have an extra controller or have anyone else to test out the local, which I loved how they promote this game to run well locally, while most games nowadays, have taken out local play, which is disappointing. You don't see like the couch play experience with between you and your IRL buddy when they come and visit. Let's say they want to hang out, they want to play a game together. That's cool that Talzar brought that back into Reanimal, which I thought it was great, because Little Nightmares 3 should have had that opportunity. And so between you and a friend, let's say, decide to come and play that game together on the big screen, that would have been perfect. But the fact that they took it off local play, and most games, it's not cool at all. I would love to have seen it, but that's where I love Tazar about it, is that they brought local back. And one day I'd love to experience that with others and play locally. Now, online co-op, they've got to fix that right there, because that's what the downside is for me, is not having online co-op to work. And that is aggravating. Absolutely aggravating to me that they could not get this online co-op to work. Even that patch 1.5 didn't even solve the issue, and I felt pretty disappointing. And to me, I'm not going to score Reanimal this high, because I feel that Reanimal should be criticized fairly, because I don't want to be hyping this up like other game reviewers, like it's a 9 out of 10 or this is 10 out of 10, which, first of all, Reanimal is far beyond perfect, because I don't think that this is a game that should be a perfect score by all means. That's where I find that these reviewers or these game reviewers want you to think that this is a game that is excellent, which I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff to go over it too. No problem right there. Now, all we need to do is wait and see if Tarzar and THQ can work out the bugs and the network issues going on through online co-op, excuse me. So that's why I feel that this should be looked over carefully and surely, running well. The next when they release the next patch coming over on for PC, Switch, Xbox, and PS5. Who knows when? And lastly, in the podcast, I want to go ahead and talk about the game. And now, what my take on the game right there is, well, I will say that this game has wonderful moments for a horror adventure game. The platform is still well flawless, and it does well. And there are moments in the game that I would say I wish they've done a lot more in the game and made the game lengthier, in my opinion, personal opinion. Even though they have worked on the game for the amount of time for 5 years within the game, still, because it would be better if we didn't have to wait for DLCs to come in and having to spend extra more money to it too. And while I will agree is that some people have complained online where this game should never have cost $40 for a 3 to 4 hour gameplay experience, which, I will take their criticism, say, okay, maybe they could have worked that out and added more things to it too. But I feel where I see right here with Reanimal is that they were trying to save it up for the DLCs, which in this case I almost feel like these DLCs feels more of a cash cow, because I don't know why they always love to add DLCs for us to put down $20 for extra content like that too, which in my case they should have just added in the game in the first place. In my opinion, they really should have, because it's like, why are you making us to spend more money for content like this? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure DLCs can be fun and they can expand the game's story and lore, why not? And it will do so many cool stuff. As you guys know, that I love DLCs, but I don't want to have to go and spend a DLC that will probably last me for an hour or two. Because if you purchase a DLC, you want the experience to go further, much more further than the main storyline or the main game. So that's how I see it right there. And sure, people could think other things and they probably have other feelings towards this game, but to me, I am satisfied with the game, except for the online multiplayer. I am not satisfied with it. I think they should just get their acts to, because let's say if a buddy one decide to stream, the other one decide to just chill with their friend online, because most of our time, our hangout usage, and most of my hangout usage really is mostly through online. And to me, I want to experience a title that is not it has no issues, doesn't disconnect to you all the time and everything like that. And I will say, in giving a bit of credit with Little Nightmares 3, while it's not my favorite game of the Little Nightmares franchise, okay, not my favorite, but one thing I will say is that when me and a friend streamed, or we actually played it online, I remember one thing and one thing alone, is that Little Nightmares 3 online co-op worked. And while one of my friends did stuttered in the game, sure, and there were problems with it, at least we were able to play it without the constant disconnect every 5 to 10 seconds in. And just so be it. It was so bad that on Little Nightmares Little Nightmares is not bad for the co-op. That I can give them that. The only problem I find is that they didn't add the local co-op compared to Reanimal. So to me, I think Reanimal does a bit more justice than I say with Little Nightmares 3, because I still give Little Nightmares 3 a 5 out of 10. And personally, if I had to give it a score for Reanimal, I would say it's probably an 8, and a good generous 8, and I could probably put it in a solid 7. But I do think that this game did go far and beyond some of my expectations that I've already enjoyed. Which, hey, whatever Talzar does with Reanimal, who knows? I will expect like probably like a sequel at some point, like Reanimal 2 coming in the future. We'll never know that what comes out of Talzar, and Talzar is still one of my favorite studios, and I will still continue to support them along the way. Which, hey, let's give Talzar another chance on having them to do originals and a sequel to Reanimal, because I think that this is still gonna go further along the way. So hey, but yeah, in this case, yeah, it is definitely a generous 8 out of 10. So that's my conclusion with the game, and I will say that playing it solely, I was still satisfied. And I will say, if you are open to watching my stream, you guys are more than welcome, because I finished part 2. I would say about Sunday afternoon, and right now, as I'm recording this, I am recording this podcast on a Sunday evening. So you guys can check me out on Monday. So either Monday or Tuesday, which I know Mondays can be very, very busy. But if I have some time on a Monday, I'll definitely get through the game probably at some point. We'll see. And I have a feeling that I'll be done with the single player like in no time. I assure you guys. But anyways, be sure to check out the YouTube link down in the description. The YouTube channel is going to be down below in the show notes. So if you want to subscribe to me on when I will be live, just make sure to hit the bell notification, and then from there you'll see my live streams, new video content I'll be doing on technology, so on and so forth too. And last and not least too, and before I hang up on the channel, I will say that this game was played on an NVIDIA 3060, and it worked really well on NVIDIA. And I was impressed coming from a Linux, even from a Linux guy like myself, playing this on NVIDIA, because I know NVIDIA doesn't play well with Linux, but somehow this title seemed to run pretty well on medium settings. Unfortunately, I can't play this game on high or ultra high, which that would have killed my graphics card right there, because my graphics there is no way it's going to run on super ultra high definition. Absolutely not. I do think that this game will run fine on medium, and to me, medium does still a good job, especially when you are looking at the visuals, the colors, and even the eeriness on the game. So far, the graphics card still runs smooth. So anyways, guys, I'd love to hear your take. If you're listening to this podcast on the YouTube channel, be sure to check it out on the YouTube channel for more podcast listening. Or if you're on Apple, Spotify, Deezer, or wherever you are too, you can subscribe on the Leon LeGray podcast on your podcast platform of your choice. Just check it out, and I'm pretty much everywhere on the podcast world. So with that said, everyone, I hope you have a great day wherever you're listening to me on. And guys, take care. Have a blessed one. Peace be with you.